It's time for Business Minds Coffee Chat, an inspiring show about the journey to personal and professional growth. And now, your host, Jay Shear.
Hey, everybody. You're listening to Business Minds Coffee Chat, and I am your host, Jay Shear, and I am super excited today. I have got a fantastic guest with me right here in the studio. My guest today is a native of Kentucky who is called the Daytona area home since about 1989. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Berea College and a master's in physical ed and sports administration from Eastern Kentucky University. And since 1989, he has served as the head coach of Embry-Riddle's men's basketball program, where in 1991, his leadership sparked the biggest turnaround in NAIA history, going from 4 wins to 22. And in 2000, he led the Eagles to an NAIA national championship. Over the years, he's been named Coach of the Year an impressive 8 times and has been inducted into 5 Halls of Fame. He and his wife of more than 40 years, Vicky, have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. Please welcome the incredible Coach Steve Ritter. Steve, it is wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Honored, and I love the introduction. Overrated, potentially, but Jay, just really excited about sharing some thoughts with you today. And again, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. So, that's an impressive short list of information or statistics, and obviously we just scratched the surface there. Is there anything that I left out that you think is top of the list, most important for you?
I would hope that it would be my 20 plus years serving as director of athletics, Jay, because at that time we had 6 sports, 0 women's sports at that time. And during those 20 plus years, we went from having 6 sports to 20 plus sports, no facilities to $100 million worth of facilities, to no scholarships or minimum to whatever our budget is today, which is very generous by our university. And the start of women's sports. The thing that's fascinating, when I came to Embry-Riddle, we had about anywhere from 10 or 11% of women on our campus. And today I think we're up over 25%. But our athletic program, we're very proud to say, has gone from having 0 women's sports and student athletes of that gender to over or close to 50% of our athletic programs make up of women's sports.
Amazing.
So that 20 years was a lot of work, a lot of building, a lot of sacrificing. But I hope that many will believe it really got us to go from one spot to, I hope, to have been part of building one of the best athletic programs in the country.
So let me ask you this. Outside of the record itself from the basketball program, all the changes that you just articulated, if you had to, in one sentence, be able to describe what it takes, what it took to be able to lead through and to see all of those changes and really the execution piece of it. I know I'm asking a lot of you to try to encapsulate that into one sentence, but what would it be for you?
If I could have you look at my arms, you see the chill bumps.
Yes.
Because I have the answer.
Okay.
And the answer, in my strong belief, not that I've mastered it, but I think this is what it's all about. And it's about relationships. And relationships means the way we built that program is we first of all had a vision and a dream to build something so special that everyone would be proud of that. And that included the board of trustees, our president, our cabinet, our leadership group, our students, our faculty, our community. And to do that, you had to have the dream, you had to have the vision. But then you really had to get up every day and have such a passion to care about people, to bring them to be part of your process and what you were trying to do to help get them to support the dream, the vision. And then you always wanted to have these relationships that were not just one-sided. Like, man, coaching his people, they're so nice. They're so giving. I just want to help Embry-Riddle. I want to do something for those guys. And that's what makes it so special, that I think it was a win-win for everybody. We weren't just shysters going in and trying, hey, help us a little bit, and we don't have anything for you. We literally were going to, example, my best friend owns Daytona Mitsubishi Kia. Dude, we need your help. This is one of our alums 30 years ago, and he was starting out. How can we help each other? He helped us go from 6 to 20-plus sports to scholarships to buildings and galas. And we helped him do what? Maybe sell more cars to be more substantial in the community.
I love that.
That is what we philosophically tried to accomplish during those 20-plus years. And I think when it was all said and done and the dust cleared, I feel like people thought, wow, we all did something to really impact a lot of people's lives and opportunities.
Absolutely. So I want to stay with vision for a moment, because clearly you understand the importance of that, right? Vision both in life as well as in business and sports, no matter what it is, having that vision and being able to message it the right way to get others behind it and to buy into it and to get excited about it and want to be able to support it. So with the word vision in mind, let's go back in time a little bit here. When you were growing up, so you're originally from Kentucky, did you have a vision for what you wanted to do, what you saw yourself becoming as a very young person in life? What did you see for yourself?
Well, like most kids at my age in the state of Kentucky, it's called, I want to play in the NBA.
Okay.
And that's what we think in Kentucky. I kid people. They'll kick you out of the state if you don't get up every day and enjoy that sport. But it was basketball. It was baseball growing up as a little kid. I wanted to be a pitcher on the Cincinnati Reds right across the bridge. I wanted to play for the Boston Celtics. I wanted to go to the University of Kentucky to play for the Wildcats. None of those took place. That's what I saw myself doing. But I think what you're leading to, which is really important, at age 21, when the game is over, my college career is over, and I don't have the skill set to go to the NBA, then it's the first time that you go, wow, what do I want to be and who do I want to become? And do I want to be a cowboy, a fireman, or an engineer? And I almost took the job of Goodyear Aerospace Corporation in Cleveland, where they build the blips outside of Akron. And my coach came to me and said, Steve, you and your new bride, you can do that. You guys will do great up there. But you were born to coach and to be a leader. That's what you did for us as a student athlete. I'd love for you to come back and be my assistant. And I said, well, they just offered me $35,000. That was a lot of money right out of college. What does that job pay, Coach? He said $500. I said, $500 a day, a week? No, that'd be for the season. I'm like, well, that's a little bit of a drop. He said, yeah, but you're born to coach. And I fell for it, because that was, Jay, the most important decision I made, because I decided I wanted to follow my passion, what I really wanted to do. And I kept thinking, I'll figure it out financially.
Yeah.
And that is a huge part about trying to pursue your dream, your vision, is that you better have something that you get up every day and you're excited about, right? And
absolutely.
That's the point that I decided at age 21. And when people always say, Coach, I always wanted to be a coach. I said, why didn't you? And then they go on. I go, I know why. Because when I decided to go at age 21, my wife and I, to get a chance to coach, I ended up becoming the chief accountant, assistant basketball, head baseball, taught activity classes, went to financial aid, and then we went back and lived in a residence hall that we used to live in as students, but they let us oversee our 400 or 500 kids and gave us free rent and a little stipend, so that all through the 8 years that we stayed there from age 21 to 29, so I could be in coaching, Kids were knocking on the door with having a girl in the room. Somebody's drinking alcohol in a dry town, the other stuff that goes on. That's what we did for 8 years besides all those jobs before we came to Embry-Riddle. So when you talk about having a dream and having a vision, we do know that there comes a lot of sacrifices to be able to continue to pursue that dream. And so financially, at age 21, no kids, we're still going to grad school, we could pull it off. But there are times that a lot of people won't do that because, you know, the financial sacrifice that we had to make at that time. I could have taken a high school job and made $35,000. That's not what I took. I took the calculated risk that this was going to allow me to be in college coaching. We'll figure it out financially. And you better have the right soulmate, partner in life, because, man, this is a lot for both of us. And that's how it all started. And that's how I got a chance 36 plus years ago to go from Kentucky to Daytona Beach.
Man, what a phenomenal story. So speaking about having a strong partner and a committed partner, how did you and Vicki meet?
Vicki was a student 1 year ahead of me. This is at a school where you had to be really smart and really poor. I was on the smart edge. They probably were in a good mood letting me in on admissions day. Vicki was really, really smart and still very smart today. But the other part, you had to be poor. And that meant at that time, maybe your mom and dad couldn't make more than $25,000 a year or 20, whatever that number was, depending on how many kids. So the reason they did it, this is a school that takes 1,500 students. They have to turn down a lot of people because nobody pays tuition. It's a school, Berea College, where you are required to work, the labor program. So Vicki taught math as her job. I was doing accounting stuff because my major was business. So when my father got ill and had some health issues, she was helping us through one of the programs, probability and statistics, as a tutor. And there were times where, you know, I thought, wow, this is really a smart girl, but there's more than just trying to study math.
Sure.
Sometimes I would go over to see her, and we always kid about that. So that's how I got a chance to meet her. She was actually helping me with math at times and statistics, and then just that relationship and friendship. So it was all about when we were in college and she was 1 year ahead of me.
I love that. Yeah. So you found that you needed more tutoring than you probably ever thought.
She got on me a couple times. Where's your book? I said, well,
So if you were to come up with two descriptive words for Vicki, what would they be?
Well, it's impossible to just ask our children, ask our grandkids. I mean, it's impossible because she's so compassionate. She cares so much. Jay, I mean, I can't describe how much she just cares. And it's real stuff. You know, sometimes I get credit if I turn on a light. Coach Ritter turned on the light switch today. And yet she is behind the scenes without people knowing, taking care of those who are not as fortunate, those who are having health issues. She's the one that attacks it. You know, this is a retired teacher and assistant principal. Her heart is golden. And then just her ability. She's got some grit. I mean, to help us get through 36 years of marriage and not having a lot, having a Thanksgiving where we had pot pies with my brother during those first early coaching days, trying to make ends meet back in the day when we had to reconcile our checking account and be counting every penny we ever spent. Those were tough times. So I just look at her compassion, and then I look at her grit, her toughness. That's an interesting combination, but that would describe two of many, many traits that she has.
So I'm going to ask you to share the same response in regards to yourself. So two descriptive words for you.
Well, I would want to believe that I am passionate to serve others, that my humility allows me these days to get up every day and ask a lot of people that are around me, particularly my family, what can I do for you guys today? That would be, I take great pride in being a servant leader. And then I would hope that people would think of the life that we've been able to live is that we are resilient. You probably don't know, but we lost our son, Rob, 8 years ago. That was tough, and it's still tough today. So you don't do things like that or be able to get through moments like that if you don't have the love and support of so many others, but you have to be resilient, right? And so I would hope that serving others and having the humility to do that, and I would hope that there is some resiliency that Vicki and I have been able to have that you have to work through. When we're 0 and 15, 16, and 19, you better be able to be pretty resilient when people are making fun. Like, dude, are you guys ever going to win a game? Are you really playing and practicing? And, in a middle school and in mainland, you didn't have facilities. You got humbled a lot.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to hit pause on our conversation here. We are going to take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors. My friends, you are listening to Business Minds Coffee Chat. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much for recommending us to your family and friends. When you need a 30, 60, or 90-minute massage, it's real easy to book your appointment online. MassageByNatalie.org. MassageByNatalie.org.
Hey, it's Jay with Thomas Media Solutions. Join us every Monday night from 6 to 8 at Tortugas in Flagler Beach for the best live entertainment around. We do several rounds of general knowledge trivia. That means it's trivia for everyone. It just doesn't get any better than this. If you're looking for the best food, the best drinks, the best people, and the best entertainment around, Tortugas is the place to be. Make sure to get there early to get a seat. See you there.
There's no business like show business like no business I know. Visit the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center at Flagler Auditorium. We're about to release our new season of professional touring shows. Visit our website at flaglerentertainment.com. Sign up for our newsletter. You can be the first to know about our shows and special offers. And remember, every time you buy a ticket to a show, you support the performing arts in Flagler schools and you support our local economy.
This is Jay Shear. Are you a business owner or entrepreneur trying to figure out how to improve and achieve greater results? If so, I'm speaking to you. I provide the tools, coaching, and accountability you need to gain clarity around your personal and professional goals, remove the excuses holding you back, build the mindset, leadership skills, and proven strategies to grow your business and become the best version of yourself. To learn more or to apply for my coaching services, call 904-236-0431 or visit jshearbusinessconsulting.com. All right, we're back. And again, you are listening to Business Minds Coffee Chat, and I am in the studio today with my very special guest, Coach Steve Ritter. Man, what a fantastic conversation we're having so far. We are going to keep that conversation going right now. So before the break, of course, we were talking about a bit of history with Steve. We were talking about family. We were talking about how he met his wife, Vicki. We were talking about his coaching and championships and all kinds of really interesting things. But I want to explore a bit more deeply on the topic of humility, of passion, of resilience, and of leadership. Mm-hmm. And when I was doing my due diligence and researching you and listening to some talks that you've given and some programs that you've been on, and really thinking about everything that you have been able to accomplish, it all comes back to leadership. But where I want to start and what I wanted to ask you about was self-leadership. Mm-hmm. Starting with self-leadership, because I've always believed in the work that I do with my coaching clients is that in order to become an effective leader, we have to learn how to lead ourselves first, because it always starts from within. So talk to me about self-leadership, what that means to you, and how you lead yourself.
Well, great question. not complicated, but pretty in-depth thinking as far as what I would consider it. I think, and I share this with people all the time when I'm speaking with groups, is I congratulate them first by making a commitment to get better, whether it's the group that we spoke to last week or whether it's Boeing Company, whether it's the NASCAR racetrack presidents. It doesn't matter what the group is. Somebody's decided that you can spend time, effort, and money to get up today and grow. That right there is the start, because sometimes we're looking just to get comfortable. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, at times. For me, the way I'm wired, if I get too comfortable and I'm not trying to get up every day and be grateful and impact others and serve, I don't enjoy my life as much. That's just me.
How do you know when you're getting too comfortable? What are the red flags for you?
Well, then when people are not coming to me with problems or opportunities for me to help them, I always say it's going to be a sad day when I'm in my office for a morning and nobody's coming in to say, Coach, you got a few minutes? Are you busy? And I always say, they pay me good money to be busy, but I'm not too busy for you. What do you got for me?
There you go.
And I, Coach, man, I'm just thinking about this, and I don't know how to work. My team's going through a rough time, and I know you know how to say some things the right way. This is what's happening. I always think, man, when I don't have those opportunities, then that means somebody else is doing it better, or they don't think I can help them anymore. I don't want to see that day, Jay. So I try to focus on my growth, because I am 65 years old, and there's no way I feel like I have reached my maximum potential, that there's no more left. I'm getting up every day going, I'm getting to that sweet spot where I'm moving, but I'm not there yet.
Okay, so a couple things I want to tug on a couple threads here. Number one, you just mentioned that you are 65 years, you said old. I would say you're 65 years young. Yeah. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you think about yourself, how do you see yourself? So you're 65 in terms of biological age, right? How do you see yourself?
I see myself, number one, as being an absolute warrior when it comes to protection of our family. I look at myself by getting up every day and just caring so much about those who I love and my willingness to do whatever I can for them. And that starts with my belief in my faith and my family. And my friends are right after that. And I have friends that are all in different situations in their life. Some don't need much help. Some don't really rely on me at all. And there's some that rely on me a lot. And I'm good with that, because I rely on them as well. And I look at every day when I roll out of bed and I do my devotion as my own thinking, like, what's my game plan for today? And what do I got to get done? And who can I help? That's how I think. That's a servant leader. And it's not false. I'm not saying I've nailed it, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm Super Bowl material. I fall short a lot, but I can't sit there and pretend I don't get up every day and I sit there at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and I start thinking, what can I do today to help some other people who need some help? And it starts with my own wife, my own kids, our grandkids, my daughter who's run around with 5 kids, my daughter-in-law's got 3 girls. I want to be able to help my family. That's what I want. One of my goals, you can laugh about it, but I want to be the best papa on this planet. I want to put time into that. So that's what I am all about. I don't think about, maybe my players are going to get mad. I don't really think about cutting down the nets all the time. I don't really I think about the 5 guys we recruited. They're going to be fun to coach. And I think about the current players on our team. We're got a very close-knit group. I can't wait to pour into those guys every day in practice again soon. So that's what I'm made out of a little bit at that time.
And I love that you used the word warrior there, that you're a warrior protecting your family. Yeah. That gives me a really good visual of how you see yourself. That's awesome. What a great descriptive word there. So I want to stay on growth and potential for a moment as we talk about, self-leadership and how you lead yourself. So thinking of the fact that you you've got more in that tank, right? There's more for you to learn.
Right.
Like we were talking before we started rolling the cameras and the microphones here about getting better every day, about learning from one another. There's not one opportunity, not one conversation that we have during the day that we can't learn something. It doesn't matter who it is. So if I were to ask you to rate yourself on a scale of, let's say, 0 to 100, and we're talking about fully realized potential, with 100 being, man, I've reached full potential, and 0 being, God, I mean, there's nothing there. Where would you rate yourself 0 to 100, with 100 being fully realized potential today?
Today, I laugh at that a little bit because somebody asked me this one day, Jay. They said, Coach, do you see it as a compliment or a negative? I said, what? What if somebody said, you are an overachiever? I said, thank you very much. Are you kidding me? That's the greatest compliments. It's like the worst thing somebody could say. One of the worst, you're an underachiever, right? God gives us these gifts. You're supposed to utilize them at the highest level. You're supposed to develop them. You're eventually supposed to give them away. So, that is where I feel like my goal is. I don't sit there and look and go, man, I'm just leaving everything on the table. I'm going at it pretty hard. And so the 4 categories, I just want to share this. Stu Weber wrote a book and it's really helped me. And it's the 4 categories that I really do get up every day and I work on these things. King, warrior, mentor, friend. King, warrior, mentor, friend. Now think about those. King, you're the provider, whether it's the AD, whether you're running a business, you're providing. In Bangladesh, right? Your family, man. The warrior, you're protecting. Mentor, you're teaching. Come on now, this is really important. This stuff.
Good.
And then the friend, every day, I want to be that friend. I got some friends that are doing a better job on their end than I'm doing for them. So those are 4 categories. Am I providing? Am I protecting? Am I teaching? And am I a friend? I love those boxes, and I've been thinking about those for over 30 plus years.
So if you find that you are falling short in any one of those 4 buckets, if you will, and I'm sure that you're very intentional about actions that you take, what would you do, or what do you do when you're kind of reviewing those areas and you realize, or you just feel like, gosh, I am just not where I should be as a friend or as a king? What do you do about it?
Be transparent.
Okay.
Be transparent and stop over evaluating yourself. Be humble about it. I fall short ridiculously. I can put 2 or 3 people around you and say, he can do better in that area. But what I also describe, one of the things I talk about is these priorities you establish in your life, whatever they may be. Everybody gets to do them, but I have a certain way. I like talking faith, family, friends. But then when you look at that, and then you spend a month to start tracking how you're spending your time. Oh, I think family is really important, but I haven't seen one of our grandkids' games all summer. I haven't talked to my daughter in 3 weeks. I haven't. Stop saying it, because it's that's not your priorities in life. What are you spending your time? So that other P, I talk about purpose, right? The 333 purpose in life, priorities, and that third P is the critical one, and that is, are you protecting these priorities? Which means, are you the ones you've established? Are you putting that kind of time? And when you come up short, it's telling you, no, you're not. So either you're going to do it, or I talk about the disease of shysterism. You're going to keep talking about it. You're going to keep doing it, but it ain't happening. I say this all the time, and I got to keep working it. But if I had some grandkids that were around looking at the windows and the doors and they saw me, I want to believe they look at me and go, there's Papa. And they're going to run through there and they're going to try to come up there and hang out. There's only one reason, because I've put time into that.
Yeah, man.
My wife has put more time in it. So I don't want to ever lose that. That always gives me that visual of, where are you putting your time? And that's where your growth is. And when I know there's one area that hasn't got the attention, and I deliberately, intentionally don't put any more time into it, then you better lower your expectations or stop telling people that's a priority, because it's not.
That's exactly right. So as we are wrapping up our conversation today, and I could speak with you for hours. I already know that. I would love it if you just very briefly, if you would leave all of us with a challenge. What is one thing that you would challenge everyone who's watching right now, who's listening to your voice, including me, very briefly, what would you challenge us to do?
Why are you picking one all the time? Because, those are hard.
They are.
But I'm going to tell you the one that means everything to me.
And we've got 30 seconds.
Okay. Let's get up every day and let's love on each other. Love on each other. And love can mean you can hold somebody accountable. You can still be transparent, but it's gotta be real, and it's gotta be with love. Stop threatening. Stop doing those kind of things. This mouth is dangerous. You can humble people. You can hate on them. But I say, let's do things like help them. Let's love on each other a lot more. That's the route. That's where it's going to get us. Sounds simple. Sounds a little bit but it's the real stuff.
Ooh, that's so good. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that challenge with us. And Steve, I want to thank you so very much for joining us today on Business Minds Coffee Chat. It was such a brief conversation, but in that span of time, you shared so much wisdom, and it's so impactful. And I really appreciate your candor, the way that you show up, and just your energy and your wisdom. And I know that wisdom is earned, and I want to thank you so very much. I'm grateful for you.
Honored to meet you and start of a good relationship. Appreciate you, Jay.
Likewise. And for all of you, I want to thank you so very much for tuning into Business Minds Coffee Chat. We will be back next Saturday morning at 8:30. And until then, my friends, keep learning, keep growing. And as Coach says, love on each other. And we'll see you on the next Business Minds Coffee Chat. Take care, everybody.